Hey guys, it's Matt with ContractorHUB. We're back at it again today, and today we're going to be setting up your recruiting pipeline statuses. This is for people that's in the perform or hire packages, but let's go ahead and dive in and talk to you about how we're going to set up your recruiting workflow and your applicant tracking system within ContractorHUB. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to jump into the dashboard, and once I get to the dashboard, I can look at the people module. And within the people module, we'll have both the recruiting tab, which is going to be essentially your entire applicant tracking system and have all of your job pipeline statuses throughout the entire thing. So you'll have that in that board view. You'll be able to see those statuses very quickly. But how do we change these statuses, or how do we add or delete one? So let's go ahead and then go into the people module and then settings. Within settings, you're going to land on the application statuses workflow board. Now, all of these are defaults that we set up for you in the initial implementation phase. However, you can delete or change any that you don't use. I would suggest deleting the defaults and creating new ones for yourself, but you can do it however you want to do it. So first things first, let's look. It's all in the order that the actual candidate flows through the system. So app applied, phone screen, interview scheduled, interview completed, drug test, reference check. So it goes through each one of these statuses, and then we can apply automations to each one of these statuses. So say it gets into a drug test. Well, maybe that we need to fire off an email to our drug testing company to request a schedule for an employee. We can fire that email off automatically. You don't have to do it yourself. So that really helps, and I think changes the game for a lot of the admins out there that are really scrambling to make sure that they did all of the things they needed to do to ensure a candidate can get onboarded in time. So let's go through creating a new status. We're going to go create new application status, and we'll call it a new name. Let's say we need to go through a second interview. So we'll call this second interview. We can set an icon if we want. You don't have to. And we'll just say maybe this is a conversation. There's no status that needs to change. So it's not a starting status. It isn't a hired status, and it's not a rejected status. So we're going to keep all those turned off. We are going to keep this active because we do want to show it on the board. And the tab and milestone. So we can show it as a tab above the board to just kind of bring it into a little bit clearer view, or you can group it with other statuses as a tab. But we're not going to do that on this one. I think we're just going to keep it pretty simple. So now I'm going to go ahead and create that status. And you're going to notice, I'm going to click in the breadcrumbs to go back to the application statuses page. You're going to notice that that second interview was put at the bottom of the list. Well, if it's put at the bottom of the list, that means it's not going to show up next to the first interview. So we need to move that. So what we'll do to move it is we're just going to push the up down button, and then we're going to drag this one to right after the interview completed. And then we're going to click the checkbox again. Once we click that checkbox again, it's going to resave. We'll reopen our recruiting pipeline, and we'll notice now we have a second interview. That's it. That's how you set up a new interview status or a new recruiting pipeline status. You have that in there. Just think about it like the more that you track, the more data that you can get in the long run. Now, I want to give you a pretty good caveat with that. The more you track, the more you have to manage. So try not to track overly too much. The more complex things get, the harder you have to work. So let's try to make sure it's as simple as possible, but still within a certain realm of what needs to be tracked. So anyways, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time today, and I hope you got something out of this. As always, you need any support, go to the Get Help section, and you can go, how do I? And I'll try to get back to you, or one of our customer support teams will try to get back to you as soon as possible. So thanks again. I hope you guys have a great day.